these are my player ratings for Southampton 1, Sheffield United 0. So of course, last night the Blades lost 1-0 to Southampton, quite a poor performance. And of course in this video I'm going to rate them 1 to 10 based on how well they played. I mean, spoiler alert, there's not too many high ratings, but let's just get straight into it. Starting off with Michael Cooper, he gets a 7, my man of the match by far. And that's definitely one of the better games he's had this season. He did everything he needed to do. The goal wasn't his fault. Of course the goal was a deflection, not much more he can do about it when he gets diverted. And overall I think a 7's about right. For Hoover, I've gone for a 4, I wasn't impressed with that right hand side. And at the moment, I know it's early days, but he looks nowhere near the levels of Tariqa. Of course he lost the ball for the goal, he wasn't really impressive going forward or defending. He had the odd couple of moments where he was alright, but apart from that he was quite poor. For me and McGinnis, they've both got a 5, I don't think it was too bad to be honest. I thought our defence was actually alright tonight, to be fair. We only conceded 1 of course. Like I said, we dealt with Southampton's threat well, they only had a couple of chances apart from the goal. And I think both centre-backs were alright to be fair, they didn't put a foot wrong really. But by the same token, they didn't do too much outstanding either. For Burrows, I've also gone for a 5, he was alright, nothing special. And still, it just looks like a shade of his former self. Tonight, I don't think it was awful to be honest. I'm not saying he's bad tonight, but I just don't think it was that great. And not too much came down his side in terms of attacking output. For Chong, I've gone for a 2. How is he a professional footballer? He's had chance after chance to start and he just doesn't show anything at all. I genuinely don't get what he brings to the team because it's not a lot really, is it? If you compare him to Brooks, he's just night and day in terms of quality. And it's just another one of the failed summer signings. Overall, an absolute shocker from him. For Arblaster, I've gone for a 3. Another poor game for him since his injury. I really like Arblaster as well. One of my favourite players. I want him to do well, but he just isn't at the moment. And of course, playing 9 minutes again isn't going to help his fitness really. But of course, with the lack of centre mids, needs must, I suppose. I mean, he just doesn't look up to speed at all. He just can't get in the game really. You just saw when he was on the ball and when he was around that midfield area, he just wasn't confident. For Peck, I've gone for a 5. Average performance in midfield, nothing more, nothing less. Plus, he backed off instead of challenging him on for the first goal, which isn't ideal. But outside of that, you could see he was trying to get something from the game, trying to create something. But ultimately, it just didn't pay off, so I'm going to give him a 5. Similar to Peck, I've given Callum White a 5 as well. He's tried to create something, it didn't pay off. I don't think he was too bad. He was trying to get himself in them areas, but nothing came of it, unfortunately. And I think he's quite tired. There's a lot of tired bodies out there at the moment. He hasn't looked the same as he has the last few games. For Cannon, I've gone for a 5. Not much more he could have done, to be fair. He's feeding off scraps. Especially that first half, we didn't create really anything for the strikers to feed off, so it just wasn't good enough. Obviously, he got himself into a few decent positions, nothing much come of it, so it's a 5. For Campbell, I've gone for a 4. No poor performance for him, to be honest. It just didn't look like he was making too much effort to get into the game, to try and get onto a ball. And the running just wasn't really there at all, so I think a 4 is very justified. Starting off with the subs for Bamford, I've gone for a 6. He was definitely trying to get us back into the game. He had a couple of chances denied, including that one late on. And I think with Bamford, no matter what scraps he's feeding off, he always tried to get into the game, get something out of it. And to be fair, he was quite unlucky not to score, so I think a 6 is fair. For Brooks, Sariki and Harman, they've all got off 5. They was alright, nothing more. They all showed a bit of glimpse in the game, like Brooks and Sariki on that right hand side were a bit better than the others. And Harman created a couple of chances to be fair off the bench, including that one from the corner that nearly went in. Overall, I don't think I can rate him more than 5 off the bench. They haven't really impacted the game. And then finally, for Danny Ings, it's a 4. He was quite poor. I mean, he didn't really do anything at all, to be honest with you. And I'll be honest with you, I think that was the wrong sub at the wrong time, to be fair, because Ings just doesn't have the pace. Bamford doesn't have the pace. No one has pace up front. And chasing the game, you want someone up front who has a bit of pace that can break away and get a counter attack going. I think even chucking like an Benny on at striker for 5 minutes would have been better. That bit of pace to drive at the defence.